Hello. Hopefully that's working. Hi and welcome. Hello. Hopefully that's working. Hi and welcome. Hello. Kill the echo for a second. We should be in a better position once we've fixed that. Once we fix that, there we go. Hiya. Hello. Today, hi, Steph. What we'll try not to do is play my YouTube video in the background whilst I'm trying to record the current stream. So today we'll be finishing. Let me get this up on screen. Boom. So we're finishing our barn, which is part of the next MOC. This is called The Farm, and it is MOC number 151980 on Rebrickable by Ploopis. It is 1,700 odd parts, and it is a barn with a grass area, and it's got an open back, which isn't massively a problem for us because we're really looking for the front and sort of the layout. So that is what we're working on. Once I've finished building the MOC as it is by Ploopis, I will move on to adapt it, and I won't do that during the stream because it will just be too difficult with getting pieces, changing stuff. So I'll just post that on Instagram afterwards. But predominantly, the purpose of this first part is to build this MOC. A lot of the time, there are MOCs that are already made that are really excellent, like this one. I love the design of the face of this, but it needs a lot of work for my purpose. So once this is built and good to go, I will strip it back, change a lot of the colors, we'll age the barn, we'll dirty it up, we'll remove a lot of what is going to be very green foliage and very green bushes and corn, and we'll kind of try and make it a lot eviler in the sense of the what is required for the film. We'll also add a lot more detail than the MOC has, and this is already quite a detailed MOC. I mean, I really love the brick built doors, and you can see, although I won't need them to open, they are functional to a degree as it falls off. But for our purpose, probably we'll just look to age those doors with some tan plate, and again, like I said, some brown, some reddish brown, probably some dark brown, and we'll change the roof, especially that blue slope there. So that's where we are, where we've got to. It's a really nice shape. I think that was the thing that stuck with me most when I first saw it. I love this, this shape of the roof, the way it's laid in. It's really quite a sturdy structure as well. And the roofs are openable, which is a really nice feature as well. If you want to play and be looking inside, which I don't particularly, but can see that that was its initial intended purpose, and it's just a nice, I like the way these were constructed, the way they dip down and slide underneath, really nice. So that is where we're at. We are quite a way into the instructions as it stands. So this part is focused on producing a side piece here, a piece here along this side, and a piece at the front. Most of it is foliage, so not particularly interesting. There is a scarecrow and a doghouse. The scarecrow will feature in the later adaptive MOC as part of quite a big piece of this, because obviously well, I suppose not obviously unless you've watched it, but in part of the film she gets anchored up to a scarecrow, so it's quite an effective. It's quite lucky that they had the scarecrow still in there for me, because I was going to have to make one from scratch, and theirs is perfectly fine. So that's where we are. Before I started, I checked that I had everything. Unfortunately, with Bricklink orders, stuff doesn't always come through, and when they're big orders with lots of parts, you can sometimes be less what you ordered, and that is definitely the case with these. I've had to add some additional bits. Also, the tree at the construction requires some elements to hook the branches on, the leaves. Hey Martin. And they are missing, so we'll see how we go when we get to that. But I'll start with this. And I think in terms of cost, I don't necessarily know that we covered it in the first one, but the actual model and all the parts were, I think, just under 90 £90, and the removal of certain things, like there was cows, chickens, sheep, managed to save, I think, about £25 from the overall cost. But building it now, I realize that I do have a lot in my parts that I could have used to deal with this, even cheaper, but it's just a case of time. If you notice, Martin, we've still got your favorite little friend up the top here, and I think he will probably survive this whole thing. Well, near the end, because it's actually part of the doghouse, so it will have to go. Right. How is everyone? How was everyone's days? I feel like it was a nice day. I was starting to enjoy, let's move that out of the way, having some better weather, but I think that's short-lived, because I think this weekend's going to be pretty miserable. Earlier I was building, this will make you laugh, Martin, and again say I told you so. Earlier I was building a Lumibricks model, and I didn't want to stick the stickers on, so I left the stickers because I just didn't want to stick them on. But the stickers were crucial because they work on this. Lumibricks have got this new touchless switchless technology where you just touch the side of the model and it activates the lighting. So I built the whole model, and then I had to break it all down and go back to the basement and actually use the stickers, because they were what was making the connection. So another occasion of me learning a lesson. Yes, I had. It's interesting you say that, because I also had a nice walk with my dog today. It was a nice day. finished work, and took her out for a walk. And she was very excited to get one in the week. She doesn't really need much walking. Yeah, it definitely was a want moment for me. So we're building part of the, see, this is a problem with this kind of a build as well. A lot of the colors are dark tan. My lighting isn't great at the moment, but dark tan. And like, I don't even know what the color is, like olive green. So it's causing me a few issues in working out what's going on. Oh, wow, that is crazy. That is really cheap. I got something delivered today from Rebrickable, not Rebrickable, Vinted. And in the pictures on the advert, the box was pristine. It was mint. And I'm not particularly one of those people who saves boxes and wants to keep boxes. But there's a principle of being deceived that annoyed me. So I went back to the person and said, I've just spent like £90 on this Lego set and the box is damaged. And within minutes, she sent me a £30 refund, which was nice. What is the maple tree set? Is that the one that looks like the bonsai tree? Someone watching this will be going, the maple tree, yes. It kind of looks like the bonsai tree, but it's the red branches. Is that the one? The red leaves? There's a signing tomorrow. I was tempted to take the day off and go to Leicester Square. Japanese red, but okay, yeah. Hi, Phil. I'll be ordering at midnight. So I've completely abandoned the Star Wars theme to the point of selling all my sets. I don't really know why. I just think I just started building stuff, my own stuff, and then I saw the stuff that was on Rebrickable, and I was more interested in building those sets, I guess, maybe. But I still get excited by the new releases. Oh wow! Is that what you're ordering? That's nice. Again, I do actually like that. I think I like the Star Wars stuff. I think I've moved past the point of wanting to own it because I just don't have anywhere to put it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you've got the city behind you when you're streaming as well, haven't you? Is that mainly is that a joint labour of love, or is that mainly yours, Steph? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I'll stop doing them late, but I just find it really difficult trying to. I'm always like, well, actually, I need to spend time with the kids, and I need to do all the stuff with the kids. But I end up spending 3 hours trying to get a live stream camera to work. So I probably should just do them earlier anyway. But I'm happy to keep you awake. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Have you done any, haven't sort of been over your, I don't really, I think you're mainly on Twitch, aren't you? And I don't really know how that works. I don't know if you've got YouTube-based stuff or you do any YouTube stuff, but it would be interesting to see your city. I can only normally see it from behind you when you're on the stream. Oh. It makes sense to do it that way. Although I've got to say, you're probably better than I am, because I would just be really precious about every single thing that happened in it. So I would be probably too controlling to share something like that with someone. It's been let's do that. Sorry, I'm like speed building and going and zoning out. One of the challenges with being on video doing this stuff is trying to remember that you're on video and not just going into the zone. What's quite funny about this model at this point is I spent a long time prepping these bags, and so far I've had to go to the spare bag about 8 times. 1, 2. Fortunately, the Bricklink sellers that I got this stuff from were better than what I experience. When I order big bulk stuff, I tend to get a lot of, oh, we don't have that in stock, or we've sold out of that. And it becomes challenging to track all the parts for an order. Yeah, that's true. I think it's just that I never thought I would be doing this kind of thing, because when I'm, well, there's a lot of reasons why maybe it won't be something that carries on, but it's challenging to not get sucked into the build and sort of go into the zone, especially when you're following instructions. It would almost be easier if I was mocking, although I'd have to be up and down and all over the place constantly. But yeah, it's difficult to remember. No, it's this is, I was speaking to Monarch and the Brickbods about this, but this technique here, which is obviously pretty standard, and I think is used a lot, and I'll certainly be using it a lot for this. But it's very expensive, and I needed hundreds of these. So with these, what I ended up doing was buying the poles and the top element from AliExpress, not AliExpress, one that's just as bad, not Timu, but I ended up buying them on there. And whereas on Bricklink, I was looking at sort of hundreds of pounds for these corn bushes, I ended up corn bushes, is that the right cornfields? I ended up getting hundreds for pounds. So I don't normally like mixing sort of, and it was Go Brick who produced quite good stuff, but it's I don't normally like to go away from Lego, and definitely don't like to mix them, but it was more cost effective. Yeah, I've seen that. I noticed that. It really is. It's all right when there's a few people, I guess, but when there's a lot, it can definitely be quite tricky. I always I'll start doing something, and then I suddenly think, oh geez, like there's people actually here watching this or listening. Yeah, and also it's tricky, the balance of knowing what to say. Because I have a habit of saying things and not necessarily like I'll say something with certainty that isn't necessarily a certain thing. And then you kind of, it's on the internet forever at that point. Well, I guess I could delete the live video, but all right. So I think this actually might be a bit quicker than I thought. Yeah, it was I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, but I think it was the poles, because I initially attempted to buy the Technic element. I can't even remember what that's called, but I initially tried to get that. But for this MOC, once it's adapted, I need it in the hundreds. So I need about 600-700. So one, trying to source them all was challenging. But the cost was just prohibitive, and it was for 500 of these poles, it was like £1.50. And not that these are Lego, but you legitimately you just can't tell the difference. It was just expensive. And I also don't like buying like further afield. I try to stay with UK sellers, which is probably not a great thing, but it just means I can get it quicker as well and avoid harsh customs costs, which I've had before. Hello, welcome. So this is the first exterior point, and that element, we take it here, goes on to this side. Just make sure I've got that right. Yeah. So we're just building around and giving some height around that side. I've got to say that clicking in these parts and them going in perfectly is just super satisfying. Again, it's one of those reasons that I love Lego. Just that satisfying click and it's gone in. Anyway, digress. Let's start on the next part. Yeah. So that's a good point to ask you, actually. Do you, when you buy, have you got recommended, like, do you go to particular people? Do you base your Bricklink orders around, well, I've been to this German guy 3 times before, I know this is really quick, so I'll just go straight to his store and just see what he's got? Or do you mean German and Dutch? Just, oh, you've actually just said what I was about to ask. They're generally pretty quick. Yeah. How long would you approximate is quick for that? I'm sure our quicks are probably similar. I like building these bases. I love working with the tan wedge plates. So I think this is for the other side. Just had the shock of finding out today. I don't know, the shock, the surprise of finding out yesterday that my new office, to get to it, I have to walk past a big Lego store every day, which has made me less concerned about working from home. Yeah, Europe only probably is the way to go. Yeah, I think I need to probably branch out there. My thing has always been, up until I said it on a call recently, I think on a build we were doing, but I try to do one a week. So I'll try to do one build, one MOC a week. But that's just, I haven't done one in like 3 weeks now because of the shows and stuff like that. So I really do need to get some out soon, rather than other people's stuff. I like sharing other people's stuff, but I really do need to get something out that isn't a review. Maybe it'll be this. Really? Okay, I just get paranoid about getting slapped with like import stuff. But the reality is I buy a lot of minifigs from German custom producers, and I don't get stung with anything there. So I don't see why it would happen with the Bricklink sellers. So I guess I should do it if there's benefits. And I think the benefits probably, given where those stores are located, especially the German one, will be volume. Yeah. So what have you built, Phil, to tell you that people are still in the room? Because I obviously don't know what is a function of Twitch versus what is something you've sort of set up. Can make sense. I need to get these little tricks. I'm scrapping around, trying to pull together all the pieces I can from UK sellers. And then, to be honest, when I'm doing sort of bulk expensive stuff and going to these, the off-brand, I mean, to be fair, I've only done that on these MOCs, these recent ones that I've got coming up, this one for the cornfield. But it took about 3 months to get here. Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, that's good. It is, it is really challenging to do it. Like, and I'm also, it's kind of one or the other, because I want to build, but there are significant issues when you don't talk. This doesn't look great. It's not a great form. You're fortunate, Phil, that you have someone who's willing to waffle for you in the nicest way, in the best way. I feel like I need to roll that back now. I've been over familiar. Slap me down. I think before I properly adapt this again, I will watch the movie again, make sure I'm hitting things. Yep, it's a beautiful thing. Definitely is. So we're working through this. I actually love, one of my favorite things to do with any of the Lego is the landscaping. I just love it. I've been working on the Saving Private Ryan one, and that has got so much landscaping in it. I kind of don't want it to end. Trying not to overdo stuff, but enjoying it too much, so probably will. That's not bad, but you can see my when I'm looking for sort of 600, 700 of them, and I can get them for £1, like £1.50. It is very good to be self-aware. So I am not buying anything big tomorrow, but I did hear there is someone on Instagram who actually I do need to reply to was telling me that there's a big sign-in at Leicester Square. Got that wrong on one of the Star Wars sets, but I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. Yeah, it does get pricey and it does get complicated. The problem I have as well, and this goes back to what I was saying the other day about using Studio or not using it, is that if I actually built these models, I'd have so much reduction on my wastage. I end up wasting so much because I don't model it beforehand and I'm just building by what I feel is right. So I end up with just masses of leftover at the end anyway. So the reality is I'm wandering around saying, you know, I need 600. And when this model actually comes together, the reality will probably be that I definitely didn't need that many. But it's also not necessarily one, this one, or the Field of Dreams that I would necessarily display. But I don't even have anything at the moment for the next display. Reading was good. I didn't like, I wish I'd have been able to do the film models, because I've realized now that you get the engagement I get with from the public with the film models is enormous. Even if they're not necessarily a fan of Lego, you'll catch them just being fans of movies, right? So you get so much more engagement, and people are always surprised because they don't see the movies. I did the Western, and the idea behind the Western was that you don't see that theme that much. So I kind of wanted to do something that me as a customer could go and see and be happy with. But having displayed the movies, I can definitely see that the movies get a lot more attention. So this is an example of when Bricklink goes wrong. So there's this here with the handle. Let's put it on. And it has another element that goes in here, which is, I obviously don't have one to hand because that's what I'm about to tell you, but it's like I can't remember what the piece is called. It's like a handle, but it makes it like a watering can, but that obviously didn't come through in the delivery. And it wouldn't have been something I cut because it wouldn't have cost anything. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I've been to them, and you kind of, as a person looking at them, sometimes it can be intimidating. Well, maybe it's just me, but it can be intimidating to speak to people and say, "Oh, tell me about your model." You know, even when I'm there displaying, I still feel like that. Although I try to do better at Reading, and I spoke to a few more people than I normally would. But giving them something that they can talk about, like giving them confidence to talk about something, I think is important. And yeah, it allows them to open up. Right, that isn't actually supposed to be there. Okay. So we've got our second part of the land. This part goes. Ah, dearie, dearie me. Not looking close enough at the instructions. Rushing. So the Lumibricks thing that happened earlier was pretty annoying and frustrating. But I love the new feature that they've started to add into their models, which is this kind of switchless activation. And you just basically just touch part of the model. And the lighting comes on. It's really nice. Right, so there's the front part. Yeah, I think that's what happens, and it's a shame because, well, I don't know what it feels like, but I do want, excuse the noise, I do want people to talk to me about the model. I didn't at the start. There's no doubt that I was happy to just be left alone to show it and not speak to people. But what I found, I think, when I was displaying in the US, people really wanted to engage with the people making the models. And with the movie stuff, it was really easy for them to do it, so they could do it really easily. I think some of the models, if they're niche, I think there's kind of more incentive for people to actually ask questions about those ones. But at the same time, people just feel a bit uncomfortable or a bit awkward, or they think they should know what it is, so they don't want to seem stupid or what. But it's disappointing when you put a lot of work into a model and you want people, let's be honest, I kind of want people to show I want people to enjoy it, and I want them to show that enjoyment by talking about it with me and showing appreciation. And when they don't, because they can't find a way to do it, it's just disappointing. And it's frustrating for you as well, because you put a lot of work into it, come up with a concept, are happy with it, adapt it, change it, break it, rebuild it. You know, you're constantly working on it. And then to take it to an event and not get as much engagement as you want, yeah, it's disappointing. Definitely disappointing. One of the things that I started to do with a couple of them, definitely the film ones, is I try to create more of an experience around them. So at Bricktastic, I'd put signs giving summaries of the movies. I'd intentionally, and this was really awkward for me because this is just not my style at all, but I'd intentionally gone up to people and engaged them when they were looking at the models. Like nearly every single person that I did that to had loads of questions, but just would never ever ask them had I not gone up to them. So I think that kind of gave me a bit of motivation to probably do that more in future. So I'll definitely use signs, definitely give, that's why movies work so well. Give quotes for the movie. Most people know the movies anyway, so we'll be able to relate and they can just kind of jump on. But it's a whole social thing, which is ironic really, because, you know, part of the reason I like doing Lego is it's kind of it's an on your own activity, he says on a live stream. It's kind of an activity where you're kind of just getting on with stuff on your own. Hey Gaz, no, you're fine. The start was me starting it up with the video in the background and then a really annoying echo. So you didn't miss anything. So yeah, I think moving forward for me, that's why that wasn't working. Colors again, getting me. Moving forward, I think I am only going to focus on the movie MOCs, and I think I'll just I'll either scrap or sell the Western. And just try and I don't know, invest that into movie MOCs, so I can enjoy them. And I don't know, did Phil have any signs out around his MOC or up outside of? I can't remember it because I didn't see any of. I know we've all said this at various points, but I just didn't get away to see any MOCs. I don't know if he had signs up or anything, or I've got one of these brick buddies coming so that I can not make so much noise when I'm trying to find pieces, and also so I can build and watch the TV and not damage my back to the level that I've been doing recently. It was like 55 quid or something. I'm hoping it changes the way I'm doing stuff, the making noise of me rattling around. Yeah, so I've got in the Western MOC. So when I started out, I started with that Western MOC. It was my first sort of, I'm going to try and do something and go to a display. And part of what came out of that was a lot of movie scenes. So there are movie scenes in there. For example, there is the Three Amigos is in there. All the Back to the Future stuff's covered in there as well. So there are a few, and I could definitely add more. And it's interesting that you say that, because the thing that people most pick up on isn't, oh look, a Western town. It's, oh look, that's Back to the Future. Oh look, it's all movie focused, what they're picking up on. Again, just kind of reaffirming that a lot of the engagement that I get tends to be around the movie stuff. And I think that goes to what Steph was saying about people just finding it easier to have something to engage in with that. Yeah, I've been waiting for the picture of that. I hope you had enough time to do it. I was like, oh, he should have said. I would have like smashed up the whole place. We could have brought all the Daleks in. We could have added everything to the Western scene. Yeah, so the experience was of doing that after a long time of not having done that was that it didn't really get much engagement. Some bits did, to be fair, but not to the level that I feel like I've come to enjoy, because it makes the days go quicker as well when you're sort of talking to the public about all the stuff. Makes it a lot easier. Oh, the worst thing of it was I took a train. And halfway through that first day, I realized why I shouldn't have taken a train. I don't know anything about trains in the Lego sense, or in any sense really, but especially in the Lego sense. I don't know anything about the equipment I'm using. I don't know anything about how to get repairs going. So it was a complete disaster when it just broke. And basically what was happening was the Bluetooth just kept falling out, disconnecting. So I kept getting disconnected from the train, and then it just kept stopping. So it was it's frustrating is probably the right word. Very frustrating. Fortunately, I can't remember what lug they are, but were there, the train guys anyway. They saved me, and I managed to get a train working for the second part. No, not a real train, sorry. Again, this is another thing. I'm the worst for this stuff because my brain is always off in different places, and I just assume people know where I am. When they're like, what is he talking about? Yes, it was LNUR. That is right, Martin. I was really, it was one of their guys who was in charge of, I should have got his name so I could get him something, but he was in charge, or he was involved with the robot battle stuff. But yeah, he was a lifesaver. What was interesting was that as soon as the train stopped working, the little engagement we were having just stopped. People were like, forget this. The train don't even work now. That is interesting. So I ended up getting all the parts I needed in the end for the Joker build on the 15th. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Although I completely misunderstood the MOC that I was ordering, and it's actually a modular. So I don't think I'm going to do 2, because I've ended up with, you know, the scene in Joker where he comes down the steps. It's that. And I figured, well, that's quite simple. So I'll get, and this is a stream on the 15th and 16th of May, I think, a build stream. I figured like I would get 2. So I'd get the stairs, and I'd probably get the interrogation scene from Dark Knight. And I have got both of them. But what I didn't realize in the order, because I was, I don't know, off somewhere else in my head, the stair scene has 2 modular buildings either side of it. So I've also got them to build with that as well. Okay. Where are? Guessing this is the front, and probably the most, not the front, the side of this. Is anyone going to, I want to say it was Didcot, the Adventure Brick or something. I think there's like a 1-day event, and then there's a 2-dayer in August. Yeah, you're not wrong. things I'm doing wrong here. It's crazy. It's like what is going on? Sorry, this these wedge plates are fighting me, and as usual I didn't bring any tools of any type with me. So I should have long fingernails, stop biting my nails. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful. So what else are you will you be getting tonight, Martin? The sail barge, and with that, do you get the? Is it the dark saber? Yeah, I think the 2 days, like in August, I'm not here. I'll be in the States. Right. Clutch is beating me. Okay. Let's move that over one. Now I see. Yeah, you know, there might be something in this colorblind situation. I really struggle with these colors when they're too close. Let me just bounce that over. Oh, nice. I saw, I wish I was still into it because it's I feel like collecting the hilt things would actually be a nice display piece. I love the idea of displaying them. But again, until I sort out a Lego space, this is where I be. Oh, nice. The Interceptor's the one with the, I was going to say silver, but it's not silver, the chrome on the back, right? They made a small version of it previously. I feel like this it's going to be really tricky on this stream because one of those buildings is dark red, and then some of the structural parts underneath are reddish brown. I was like, this is my worst nightmare. I love reddish brown as a color, but it isn't something that makes life easy for me when I'm trying to build. No. That kind of, I guess that makes sense. I would be, yeah, that does make sense. I really just need to go and get my eyes checked, to be honest. Well, I did it when I turned 40. I need to do it again. Yes, I am over 40 years old. Ooh. The thing that makes me laugh about doing this is that as soon as I'm done, I'm going to just break a lot of this apart. To deliver the MOC, which I hope will be popular. I thought more people had seen Children of the Corn than actually have. I feel like it was always a big thing when I was growing up, but actually the reality seems to be that nobody's watched it ever, which is hysterical because nobody's going to really know what's going on. All right, so this really is the final piece. We've done this part. This is ultimately, I think, going to be here. I love the jigsaw pieces where this just fits in. So we get to building the tree. One of the other reasons I really like this is I love the design, the shape of the land off it as well. But it also gives me something to work with in terms of expanding out for the MOC. which I will, because I'll probably need to do a 16 by 6, maybe go a bit bigger out here. And then that will all be cornfield. And then we'll have people being strung up at the front. But I think it looks very nice. It's a really good MOC. I think you did a nice job. It's sturdy. It's got a really nice out of place blue part here that I know Martin loves. But let's move on. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky. This is annoying. Because what we move on to here is the tree. And what the tree has is a lot of these, which I'll show you if I get my hands in. These hook parts. And unfortunately, the seller hasn't sent them all through. And I'm pretty sure that that will be pivotal in terms of me being able to attach bushes. Yeah, I love the shape of the roof as well, Gaz. It actually has a really nice feature in that it's you can open it, and the way it opens, you bend down and just slide under, and it just takes the shape back. It's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, I've already said in the video about that corn anyway. I appreciate you trying to be subtle about it. The corn was just really difficult to source, and this is actually Lego because this model requires, I think, 30 stalks. So it wasn't a problem me getting them, but for the final MOC, I need over 700. So in order to order them, it was AliExpress. Just went on AliExpress and bought them from GoBrick, who provide a lot of the parts for Fantasy and Lumibricks models. So they're perfectly fine. You really can't tell the difference. And obviously I'm against mixing those things with true Lego, so I will ultimately end up putting them aside, but for the benefit of the model, they'll do the job. Yeah. Yup. I've not had many bad experiences. I've had them, but not a lot of them with the brittle brown. I've said that now. Watch when I start trying to build this tree. Start collapsing. But this corn technique, I've just always loved it. I was at I did another show in the States, and they had he had just tons and tons of cornfields, and it just, on the scale he had it was just amazing. It really was amazing. I think he was doing like a Sleepy Hollow build, which is what I definitely want to do at some point. Yeah, that's crazy. But Guys, very expensive. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, they're compatible, right? So oh no, I think it was just these clips, the clip that I was showing. But I don't think it is affected. It will. Well, we'll find out in a minute. But the only brittle brown experiences I've had really is with paints. I'm just trying to get them off of other paints. I say I've had trouble getting them off, but that would not be good. So I'm building behind that, but so there we start to shaping the corn on here. Yeah, my experience has been mixed, but I would say it has been positive in respect of companies like GoBrick, Lumi Bricks, Lumi, Fantasy. I've not had their stuff seems to be getting better and better. So I've not had a massive issue, but I don't know what it is in me, but something about mixing them just gives me such anxiety. I think it's because I think it's to their credit, right? I think they're so good that I worry once I do the mix, it's going to be really painful to pull them apart because I'm going to have to be looking for the Lego logo on everything I find. I remember Mega Blocks back in the day, I guess a few years back now, were not great at all. I don't know. I just haven't. They gave me. They made me really stay away from it for a long time. But then when companies started reaching out and saying, "Will you like review this?" I figured I've got nothing to lose. Like if it's bad, I can say it's bad. And we'll go from there. But so far, especially from those big companies, I'm not seeing anything to complain about. I'm really not. There's some ethical things, I guess, with some of them, but it's Lumi Bricks and Fantasy do original builds, so they're not copying anyone's build or anything like that. So I don't have massive issues with them. The other ones, yeah. But the biggest thing for me about alternative bricks, and I've said it before, is people being able to access. So cost is a big thing for me. Like I will always look favorably on a Lumi Bricks set or a Fantasy set, predominantly because they are affordable. So whenever I start looking at them and I'm thinking about, people like me when I was growing up, or people now from families that don't necessarily have that kind of money to the kind of money Lego are asking, I'm always appreciative of companies that are sort of trying to bridge that gap or seize an opportunity, I guess, for them. But yeah, I'll tell you. So that Opera House is an unusual one. I've built a few of I did the Fantasy one. I think I've done 2 Fantasy ones. I've done a Lumi Bricks one before. I think it is a really nice build, that one, and it has this new technology. And I know nothing about this, just what I was building today. But it looks like the wires meet. Sort of I'm going to say it like a motherboard, but that glues to that sticks. So you peel the sticker, stick it to the back of an element, and it will normally be panels, and then that panel on the other side will have printed on the brick sort of a marker, so it'll say Opera House, and then you just put your hands down and just slightly touch that, and the whole thing lights up and it goes off. So it's like it's a really nice way to light models. And they also did it with the Wheatfield art set that they released, Lumi Bricks, and it was really good. I just love I love their steampunk stuff. I like the color palette that they use. I appreciate what they try to do with the lighting in the way they try to hide it, and make it so that it's not burdens, like it's not a burden when you're trying to use it. There's a lot of things they do that I do really like. So if I was ever going to recommend one as like I'm going to give it a go, which one would it be? For fantasy, I'd probably say the Architecture's House, or the Architect's House would be the one I would get. That's a really, really nice build, and it's equally as good as any modular that I've ever seen. I think it went on to Bricklink, and I think it was a Bricklink designer thing at some point, and then it ended up getting adapted. It was on Rebrickable for a while, but Fantasy got with the artist and got the design from him and started producing it. So if you get a chance, fantasy wise, I would say that house is a really nice modular. In terms of Lumi Bricks, I would say probably the best build that I've done from them, which gave me all of the joy of when I built the police station and got back into Lego, was the barbershop. So they've only, this is quite a new one, but it's called the barbershop, and it is a barbershop. Surprise, surprise. But it's such a nice model. It goes together really well. It's really tight, neat. It's just so good. I couldn't recommend that one enough. Such a really good model. So if you were going to do a Lumi Bricks, I'd recommend that that barbershop to start with. The Opera House is great, but I think them on form is that is definitely that barbershop. It's massive. It's a massive piece. It's got tons of detail inside, from the chairs to, you know, the pictures and the printed pieces. Just really nice, really good quality, and so cheap as well. Yeah, they did fall apart. They were crazy bad. Yeah, some of the Pokemon stuff I did like. Yeah, it's a good one. I think they missed a trick, because I don't think it did. But it was one of the things that's really nice about that model as well was the lighting. It was kind of it was understated. It was just really nice. Definitely worth doing. So we just did this. This is their Scarecrow, which I quite like. This is probably going to be a big focus of the scene in terms of horror, because that's what she gets stuck on in the nicest possible way. Got to put these in exactly the right places, Martin. I'm being a bit cavalier with my placement. And come back to haunt me. Yeah, so my recommendation would be the barbershop, though the Opera House was great as well. One of the nicest, I know this is supposed to be about Lego, but one of the nicest fantasy ones that I did was the brewery. The brewery was amazing. It has mechanics throughout, and it was fantasy. It's mechanics throughout, like cogs and moving elements, but it's just such a nice model. It moves really, really well. Yes, it was probably one of the grimmest scenes. What's funny about that is I was going to say Linda Hamilton. Is that the right name? The woman from Terminator? She's the one that ends up on the Scarecrow, or as the Scarecrow, really. It's pretty basically crucified. I think I said this the other week. I think the worst thing about it is the fact that kids are doing the violence. It just makes it pretty horrendous. Hey, KO. Yeah, it's Linda Hamilton. And I think it's just pretty gory all in. But it's good. I was saying to Martin the other day in his stream, I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to focus on horror for a while. I've started working on that Pan's Labyrinth one, Martin. I've got some good ideas for that. And I definitely want to hit some of the other, I want to do some of the zombie films. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is underway. Some of them can get done quite quickly. That's why I was sort of able to turn stuff around quite quickly. Some of them just come together. They're just so easy to do. Others, as I've said many, many times before, the Hot Fuzz one just haunts me. I can't get my head to a place where I can just sit down and do that. I need to just watch the movie. Hey, Nick. It is KO. Yeah, that would be good. There's so many things that you can do. I have to be careful though, because I enjoy displaying. And the problem is a lot of it isn't kid friendly. And it was really awkward at Bricktastic when parents were coming up with kids and I'd hear the kids going, why has that man got his head cut off? And stuff like that. It's just probably not the right thing for kids, to be fair. I did put an 18+ warning up, but I mean, there's only so much realistically you can do with that. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I found a custom fig today, and when I was trying to do the Pan's Labyrinth stuff, and it's made me think that I probably have to do a Chainsaw Massacre. I feel like it's one of those where I really don't have the option not to. Sometimes minifigs are just the inspiration you need, you know. So I think at this point we've kind of done the lay of the land here, and what will happen at this front part, I don't necessarily know it's going to be 2 hours, but I do want to finish this tonight, is the tree will come up here as we go. And I'm kind of glad people get to see it as it is, because I'll butcher it, and I hope that it doesn't look really much like what you see here when we're done. Ooh. Yeah, you're right. I should. The thing is as well, I know what I'm doing. I know the scene. I know what I need. I just can't get my head around it. Something about the scale keeps throwing me off. I built a whole supermarket, so I ended up spending about £300 worth of Lego vouchers from conferences on this, and it is just it's just sitting there, and it's just really hard. I think it's a scale thing. I've got to not build the whole shopping centre. Oh yeah, that'd be good. You know, I have you make a good point. I haven't ever been concerned about it until I was in the States, and someone looked at, I think it was the Fight Club model or Departed, which are two of my favorites, but I think the Departed one is essentially, I don't want to give a spoiler alert, so turn off for a second, but the murder of our main character. So there was, I could tell that people were not happy with it, and it made me feel a bit uncomfortable. So I just kind of, I ran up to them and sort of just threw myself into them and hoped that me talking things through would make it make more sense to them if they didn't know the movie and just thought I was just a crazy person. But I've never been told not to do it or not to show them. But if I was, I would obviously take it down. And I also wouldn't be surprised if that did happen at some point. Mark my words, it will probably happen. Oh, yeah. The thing is, as well, I would do that. And so I've been asked, a lot of people have suggested that, and actually suggested it at Bricktastic as well. I think it would be a really good one to do. I would have to step away from accuracy though. So I obviously couldn't name it what it was named, so I'd have to name it something that was friendly. If you think about Citizen Brick minifigures, what they do to avoid copyright, I would probably have to do the same thing to just try and avoid upsetting parents and kids. But I'd love to do it. You're talking about the titty twister, which would be, I'm guessing you're talking about that. And the reason I'd love to do that is I'd love to do the front bar section leading up to it, and then the pit at the back for the final part of the movie. But it would have to be just its own MOC. I couldn't do that and loads of others because it would just be massive. I could. People would love it. I think the engagement from the adults would mean that there'd be forgiveness, I hope. I think you definitely should add something to the basket. The tongue twister, yeah, something like that, I think, is what I would need to do. Yeah, I think that change, and then visually how I'd represent that neon sign would be a challenge, because I'd have to have the neon sign, because that is like the thing. What I could do, I guess, is censor it and just have her wearing a top. And then maybe if an adult comes along and notices it, I could say to them, well, there's no kids watching, watch this, and just sort of pull a switch and then the boobs with the 12s come out. I think that it would be a step. I think they would struggle to push back on any criticism they got. But it'll be an amazing model. I'm regularly trying to get celebrities to engage with these when I put them on Instagram. So far, the only person who's ever engaged was the stupidest model that I've ever built, and also the one that gets most comments as well from like the public is the Final Destination one. So the guy that wrote Final Destination 2 for that scene sort of shared it and promoted the post a bit, which was cool, but I would have rather it had been Mark Wahlberg or, or someone doing The Departed. All right, so we're starting to build up the tree. This is like a real brick built tree going up here. The parts are giving me anxiety in that box. I do appreciate when people do like brick built trees and stuff like that, but it does also take time. I was tempted to do like a Blue Peter, and as I was waffling along, just go, and here is a tree I prepared earlier. I feel like that would probably defeat the purpose of the entire stream. I mean, I could definitely try and get away with that. I'd be willing to do it. And if it was like Bricktastic, I'd probably just email a picture over and just say like, this is what's about to happen on your watch. Are you okay with this? I'm not going to call it the titty twister, but it is basically going to be the melon pincher or something like that. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Is Blue Peter even still on? I don't feel like I've seen that in years, but I just don't watch normal telly anymore. I'm sort of, everything's a streaming thing. I feel like it hasn't been on in ages. I know that, I think Newsround still happens. Blue Peter. Crazy. And people used to get them, they'd be like the most amazing thing someone could get. I got my Blue Peter badge. I did always want one though. I never wanted anyone to solve, Jimmy Savile to solve anything for me, but I definitely wanted a Blue Peter badge. Can't believe I went to Jimmy Savile on it. Stream. Okay, so we're moving. It's like the most painful tree in the world to build, but I think it's going to look nice. It's only painful because the bricks are fighting me. Because they're not, I feel like there needs to be a structure in this central piece, and you don't put it right in till the end. But the problem is when I'm putting pressure on the outside, it's like wanting to crush in. I haven't watched that series in ages. I feel like some series you just need to watch back again. Like I can watch The Office over and over again. And Life on Mars was one of them as well. I don't ever remember them dealing with any massive issues like the programs do today. But they must have done. They must have had like covering sensitive topics and stuff. Let's get you to kind of, the tree is being built like that. So it's just moving up on the on these cross pieces and then just fill in the center. Huh? Okay. Made a bit of a mistake there. Not attaching it straight away. One of the worst bricks in the world. Okay. Actually mind this tree. It might be a good thing that it's going like this. Yeah. I don't think there was a massive tree-based scene in the movie. Excuse the cars. It's boiling hot in here, partly because my computer wants to set on fire. It's trying to cook me. And partly because it's been a warm day. one of the issues with these instructions are it's giving me, I'll show you. They've shown me the top of this as I go up, but because I'm not being shown the bottom, I've kind of got no idea of where I am, the positioning of the tree, apart from the head of the scarecrow, which really doesn't help much. But we are coming together. Parents crack me up. Stuff we were protected from. All right, so this is where we are definitely going to have some problems because I do not have the right pieces. So I'm going to try and put substitutes in, but I'm not sure it's really going to work. We'll see how we go. Kind of making do with stuff that I could grab in the minutes before we started this. This tree's got a bit of height on it, which is, so where did I go wrong there? Nowhere. Again, we got really not much context of where we are on these instructions, so we're just kind of trying to make it up as we go along. It's not the best situation for that. But I shouldn't be critical, too critical. It is a nice model. Just we're going to have a few challenges. Disaster, disaster. I bet you all woke up though. Sorry for letting out the scream. Okay. No, unfortunately, my well, definitely my kids, they watch YouTube. That is their go-to show. It's not necessarily YouTube that's the problem. It's sort of their structure, but it's the drivel that they watch on there. Okay. Okay. Repaired. Crisis averted. And actually, I'll build this bit off now. So that back there, there. Okay, let's try and do it again. Let's take it off and do it. Cause the same level of destruction. I think we can safely say it's not the most secure tree. Almost to the point that I would argue it's kind of over-engineered. Feels like it was too much time has been spent on parts I wouldn't have necessarily spent the same amount of time on. And that won't stick in there. I think that's an angle issue. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Does news rounds still come on? Is that even a thing anymore? Remember watching that as a kid. All right. Our tree is coming together. You guys have got like T minus 8 minutes. Get yourself ready. Yeah. I'm going to say you're right on the basis that this one really wanted to explode. I'd go as far to say it was really, really begging to explode. But we don't mind. What is it that he used to say? Bob Ross, happy little accidents. So what it wants now is to shape the tree, but without really giving many opportunities to do it. I built a tree for the Shawshank Redemption MOC and travelled with that to Bricktastic and back again. That tree was the worst tree ever, but it didn't break once. So something to be said for some trees. Just give them as much as their minimum and they'll be fine. Others, over-engineer them and they'll be your worst nightmare. To be fair, the bonsai tree set was good. Worked well. I don't think I ever had any real issues with that. Right, I'm going to customize that part down there. I'm not going to follow the instructions because they don't work. Gaz, are you buying Lego tonight? Star Wars. Star Wars. Okay, I'm just making this up at this point, because I think their instructions are trying to make me do things that don't make sense. Everyone's like, Q ready. Get ready to rumble. A load of nightmares with the trying to order that Creole house on New Year's Eve, and I still haven't built it, just so I could get the GWP. Yeah. Sometimes I think there's an art to so many of these things like this. So many different aspects to Lego. One of them being, when you build stuff, you need to make sure you're building something that can travel, you know? So often, disaster strikes. Okay. Oh, I keep forgetting you're not even really waiting for it to be released. You're just waiting for the time to hit. Did you get the GWP as well? I think that's the thing. That was the thing that I was worried about. But in the end, it was pointless worry. I still haven't even done anything with it. Oh no. He's in a queue. Feel free to go. Remember, priorities. Need to jump off and get it done. Do it. You're all in the same queue. Crazy. Well, think of it like this. Once you're done, you'll have that nice new set and you can go to bed. Happy and content. So I will definitely be removing this tree and doing my own tree. I can tell you that right now. All right, so there we have that. And now is really the tree part. But the stream is going to end. No. I'll finish, but be Feeling free not to hang around. Feeling free? Feel free not to feel like you have to hang around. Because I'm literally just working with green frogs at this point. And see everything. I see what they've done there. Okay, that's not so stupid. Now that makes more sense to me. Or does it? No, it was stupid. We're definitely going to have to customize and change this tree. Well, listen, not because this has taken longer because of that tree than I thought, and I really want to get it finished, but just out of care and courtesy for you, I'm willing to hang around a bit longer to entertain you. Color screen. Let us know when you get lucky, when you get the Lego set. Yeah. Neither am I. I am going to, I keep meaning to buy and keep forgetting to buy the Tintin set. Has anyone built that yet? I'd definitely really like to build that set. It's in the basket. Is that cheap? Wasn't it supposed to be 240 or something? That price does seem low. For Lego Star Wars. Wow. Well, that's a crazy deal. That's unusual for Lego. Yeah. We should actually do like buy-in streams. I guess they may be risky. You miss what you want. Come on, guys. I'm rooting for you. Let me know when you get through. Once I'm finished, I'll go on. Because Martin's influencing me again. Making me spend money on things I don't want. Although, to be fair, Snow White was a nice build. So I'm less... who we got? Oh, you checked out. Nice. Did you get everything that you wanted? When I say you, I mean, did you make those additions you wanted for yourself? They are. Everyone is just as bad. You are correct. I'm not singling you out, although I did, I guess. But all right. See where these little ones go. Nice. I'm very stingy. There is something satisfying, though, about getting a good deal. I love getting a good deal. There's definitely something more rewarding when you actually do something and you go and you think, wow, I managed to get that a hell of a lot cheaper than I should have done. All right, I've had to make best I can with this. Unfortunately, because I don't have the right clips, this tree looks like it's got jazz hands, like it's going... So don't judge the original MOC designer too harshly. And before I put it up on social media, I'll make repairs. But for now, I think I'll leave it as it is. Because this tree is a very full tree. Which you're not really going to be able to see unless I put it into position a bit better. And that goes there. Okay. Where do my pins go? One there. And one there. So we'll try and attach this. So it's really a bit tricky to show, maybe if I do it on the... Yeah, that is crazy, 40% off. So let me try and make this screen bigger. So I'm going to have to work on this tree for sure. Because it looks like it's like exploded. Yay! Congrats, Martin, on your purchase. So we're going to work on this tree. But that's generally what you got. I think I'll give it 20 more minutes. Feel free to go get all your beauty sleeps if you need. But what I'm going to do is try and finish this doghouse. And we'll see where we end up. So this is the last bag. Let's build. Oh. So the first thing we've got that we're building here is a wheelbarrow, which is quite nice. And we're going to put that. It looks like one of those American like wheelbarrows. One of those American wheelbarrows. I meant one of those flyers, not a wheelbarrow. Then over here, we need to put the doghouse. So we're going to put that there, that next to it, that next to that. Oh. That there. And that on top. And then we should build the doghouse, which is very small and cute. Doghouse. I like the colour of the doghouse, the contrast. Really nice. I'll show you it shortly. It's going to be a big reveal. See, there's some unusual part usage in here. It's hard to really demo it without moving things too much. I'll show you shortly. Again, one of the constant issues that I have with these models sometimes, so it is a constant issue, is the sometimes the structural integrity on Rebrickable models is questionable, or the method of design isn't quite as easy as it could be. I know why. It's because in my head, I've been telling everyone, including you guys, that this is a doghouse, and it actually isn't. I've just realized what it is. It is, in fact, a chicken coop. And I should know this because there was a chicken with it, but I cut that out of the bricklink order, mainly because I don't need a chicken. But the good thing is we're about 3 bricks off this being done. That goes there. That goes there. And this is where I am haunted by that brick that I shouldn't have put there. Brown. Sorry, I know you're looking at the model, not really getting much to see much of what's happening here, but for speed. So this is actually going to be a chicken house. A chicken house, that's not the right word. What's the right word? Where do hens live? Coop? Chicken coop, maybe? Got another really nice roof here. Like the guy that did this, very good at designing roofs, apparently. It's a coop. Thank you, Martin. I need you here. You'll be sleepy. Right. We are nearly done. And I appreciate you all for your patience and tolerance. Now I see why that was in there. Got to follow instructions. Hen house. Hen house is the way I would think of it. A coop. A coop. Let me find the back legs, which I just cut off. Let's give Martin some reward for being here and tolerating this. Martin, you know your favourite bit on this building there. Well, let's take it and actually put the piece. So it's now got the right piece, okay? Yeah. And what we will do is I'll use that where it actually belongs. And then we got the coop, the coop, the coop, the coop. And the coop should just go in here. Needless to say, the beautiful chicken coop will not feature in the hen house, will not feature in the model. So there we go. That is the MOC, and it is MOC 151980, so 151980, and it's the farm, and it's by Ploopis, and it's 1,700 pieces, and it's nice. I love the building, love the shape of the building. Definitely need to fix the tree. Something's not quite right with that tree, but I love the shape. I love the way this comes around here. I love the way it all went together. Really nice. And I will try and show you a better picture of it. Oh. This is where it all like fall to pieces. So you can see the tree is like in desperate need. It looks like, well, it just exploded. So I'll deal with the tree. But it's nice. It's a nice little scene. Check out Instagram. I will fix and have something photo worthy up. Instagram worthy, but it's a nice building, really is. And I keep saying it, but I do love things like this building. The way it opens up is just a really nice feature to be able to see inside, and it does that on both sides, and then you can just slide it under and it goes back and maintains the shape. It's just a really nice shape. The best thing about it, I think, is for me is the roof and the brick built doors, because I think those doors look really nice. So yeah, that Lego tree will get some punishment. I'll fix that up, but the coupe came out nice. But it's definitely what I need for the model. So I will use it and abuse it basically. So we'll carve all this out. So I'll fix the tree. I'll put a photo of this on Instagram, and then I will break it down, rebuild it, and hopefully have a post by tomorrow night, which will resemble the Children of the Corn, the finished thing. But there you go. That is it. Done. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, it does. It's just like, I don't want to be a tree. We're not going through this again. There's a bit of alterations to that landscape I can make as well, but we'll get there. It's good. Happy Star Wars Day. Happy Star Wars Day. Like I said, we'll fix that tree. And on that collapse note, I will say good night to you all, and hope you have a good day, and you're welcome to a good day, a good night's sleep, good day tomorrow. And thanks for being company, and sorry for waffling a lot, but I figure I'm in good company for a waffle. And yeah, and that's it. Night, guys. Take care. It's going down. I'm yelling to him, but yes, it's not. It's standing up perfectly, and I could, if I wanted to, lift both hands and show you both hands at the same time, but I just don't want to. Yeah. Cheers. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Night.